Every morning, before the sun fully rose, Mr. Carter arrived at the tall glass office building in the heart of the city. He wore the same clean, dark blue uniform, his name tag shining on his chest. He always greeted people with a soft smile and a respectful nod. He was the building's security guard, always on time, never loud, never late. Most people didn't notice him much. Some nodded back, many didn't. To them, he was just part of the furniture, like the plants in the hallway or the chairs in the lobby. But Mr. Carter didn't seem to mind. He did his job quietly, watching everything with calm eyes from the security desk near the entrance. But there were a few who did more than just ignore him. Every week, a group of wealthy young interns from the top floor would pass by him, laughing loudly and mocking him when they thought he couldn't hear. "Look at him, man," one of them whispered once. "Bet he couldn't even afford to work upstairs. Probably didn't finish school," another said with a smirk. "I mean, who chooses to sit there in a uniform all day?" They laughed, loud enough to be heard, but Mr. Carter just smiled like he always did. He never got angry, never spoke back. He simply returned to checking his monitor screens, his hands still unsteady. One of the interns, a young woman named Emily, sometimes felt bad for laughing. She didn't know why, but something about Mr. Carter made her pause. His eyes didn't look sad or weak. They looked deep, like he knew things others didn't, like he had seen more than anyone else in that building. Still, she said nothing. Like the others, she didn't ask questions. Weeks passed. One afternoon, as the sun began to lower in the sky and the lobby lights turned on, something unusual happened. A black luxury SUV, polished and expensive, pulled up to the front of the building. It didn't belong to anyone the staff recognized. The engine turned off, and the doors opened slowly. A tall man stepped out. He wore a sharp suit and sunglasses. Two more men followed behind him, dressed in black. The entire building lobby turned to look. Some interns peeked from the top floor windows. Even the receptionist stood up to see. But the man didn't head toward the elevators. He didn't ask for directions. Instead, he walked, firm and straight, toward Mr. Carter. The lobby went quiet. The man stopped just a few feet in front of the security desk. Mr. Carter stood up calmly. Then it happened. The suited man took off his sunglasses, looked Mr. Carter directly in the eyes, and raised his right hand in a salute. A military salute. The two men behind him stood still, watching with serious faces. Gasps filled the air. Even the laughing interns now looked stunned. Emily's jaw dropped. Mr. Carter, quiet and humble Mr. Carter, simply nodded and returned the salute, his hand firm and steady like a trained soldier. The man in the suit smiled. "It's been too long, sir," he said. "Sir?" The man spoke with deep respect, like a student talking to a teacher, a soldier talking to his commander. Mr. Carter didn't smile this time. His face was serious. "It has," he replied softly. "But some things are better left behind." The man nodded. "Still, we remember. We always will." And with that, the man turned and walked out. No explanation, no name, just respect. Everyone in the lobby watched in complete silence. Emily felt her heart race. She looked at her fellow interns, who were now pale and speechless. "Who is he?" someone whispered. Mr. Carter sat back down slowly, his eyes scanning the monitors again like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. The workers looked at him differently now. Nobody laughed. Nobody whispered. Because now, they were all wondering the same thing. Who is Mr. Carter really? After the mysterious man saluted Mr. Carter in the lobby, the mood in the building changed completely. The very next day, people began whispering in the halls. The same interns who used to laugh now lowered their voices when they passed by the security desk. "Did you see that SUV guy salute him? He called him sir. That wasn't just respect. That was fear." Even Emily, who had always felt something different about Mr. Carter, couldn't stop thinking about it. She kept replaying the scene in her mind. Who was that man? And why did someone like him show respect to a security guard? Mr. Carter, however, didn't change. He showed up at the same time, sat in the same chair, and greeted people with the same quiet smile. But now, the smile seemed heavier, as if he knew what people were thinking. That morning, Emily walked up to his desk with a cup of coffee. "Good morning, Mr. Carter," she said gently. "Morning, Miss Emily," he replied. She placed the coffee in front of him. "For you." He raised an eyebrow, but accepted it with a soft smile. "That's kind of you." She paused for a moment, then said, "Can I ask something?" He looked at her. "What happened yesterday? Was that man military?" Mr. Carter nodded slowly, but didn't say anything else. Emily took a breath. "Were you in the army too?" Mr. Carter looked at her for a long second. "I was, many years ago," he said quietly. "Were you a commander?" Another pause. "Higher." Emily's eyes widened. She had no idea what that meant, but it sounded serious. Still, she didn't push. "Thank you for your service," she said. He gave her a slight nod. "Some fights stay with you, even after they're over." As Emily walked away, she noticed something strange. Two men in dark suits were standing across the street, watching the building. They weren't talking, just staring. That night, something even stranger happened. Around midnight, after most workers had gone home, two masked men tried to sneak into the back entrance of the building. But before they even got close, Mr. Carter was already there. He moved fast, too fast for someone his age. One of the intruders raised a tool. Mr. Carter knocked it out of his hand in seconds. The second man tried to run, but Mr. Carter caught him like it was nothing. By the time the police arrived, both men were on the ground. Mr. Carter stood there calmly, not even out of breath. The officers looked shocked. "You disarmed both of them." "Yes," Mr. Carter said simply. One officer stared at him. "What division did you serve in?" Mr. Carter didn't answer. He just said, "I look after this building." The next morning, the entire staff heard the story. The masked break-in, Mr. Carter stopping two armed men alone. No one called him just the guard anymore. One of the older employees said quietly, "You don't forget moves like that." That man wasn't just military. He was trained. And yet, Mr. Carter remained quiet. He never told anyone who he really was. But now, everyone was watching him, respecting him, fearing him, a little. Still, no one truly knew what secrets Mr. Carter was hiding. And the biggest mystery, why would someone like him, someone who clearly had a powerful past, choose to sit at a security desk in a quiet office building? After Mr. Carter stopped the break-in, the entire building buzzed with gossip. Some workers began calling him the quiet warrior. Others were just scared. But Mr. Carter, he came in the next day like nothing happened. Same uniform, same chair, same calm face. Emily, however, couldn't sit still. She had questions, too many. That afternoon, she went to the building's security office. Inside was an old file cabinet where employee records were kept. She searched quietly, heart racing. When she found Mr. Carter's file, she opened it slowly, but it was nearly empty. No photo, no background info, only one strange note. Cleared by federal agency, no further details. Her hands shook. She stepped back, feeling cold, looking for something. A deep voice said behind her. She turned around. Mr. Carter was standing there, quietly, watching her. I just wanted to know more," she stammered. "You saved this building. People are scared because they don't understand who you are." He looked at her for a moment, then sat down on a bench. "You want the truth, Emily?" he said softly. "It's not something I like to tell." Emily nodded. "I'm listening." Mr. Carter sighed and looked away. "I used to lead a team. We worked in places most people don't know exist. My job was to get people out. Protect them, no matter the cost." He paused. "But after a mission went wrong, someone betrayed us. My entire team. Gone. I left. Disappeared." Emily's heart ached. "And you came here?" "I didn't want power anymore," he said. "I wanted peace." She sat beside him. "But peace doesn't mean hiding who you are." Mr. Carter smiled slightly. "Sometimes it does." Just then, his phone buzzed. A number flashed. Unknown caller. He stared at it, then answered. "Yes?" A cold voice spoke on the other end. "They found you. The one who betrayed your team. He's close." Mr. Carter didn't move. "How close?" The voice replied, "Too close. Be ready." The line went dead. Emily looked at him. "What's wrong?" Mr. Carter slowly stood up. "Someone's coming, and this time, it's not a break-in." Mr. Carter stood at the entrance of the office building, his eyes locked on the man across the street. The stranger wore a keen suit, held a briefcase, and smiled politely. But Mr. Carter wasn't fooled. He had seen that face before, years ago, in a jungle far from home. That man had been part of his team, until he betrayed them. His name was Blake. Emily came out behind him. "Do you know him?" Mr. Carter didn't take his eyes off the man. "Yes, he's not here by accident." Blake slowly crossed the street, acting calm, like just another visitor. But his eyes? Cold, empty. "Carter," he said smoothly, "it's been a long time." Mr. Carter stood still. "Why are you here?" "I came to finish what I started," Blake whispered, just loud enough for Carter to hear. Emily stepped forward, nervous. "Is everything okay?" Mr. Carter nodded. "Emily, go inside. Now." Emily hesitated, but the look in Carter's eyes told her this wasn't a normal conversation. Blake smiled wider, still protecting people, still playing the hero. Mr. Carter didn't answer. His hands were calm, but his muscles were tight. Then Blake said something that made Carter freeze. "I know what you're hiding, and I know about the girl." Carter's eyes darkened. "Leave her out of this." "I could," Blake said, "but I need something from you." Mr. Carter narrowed his eyes. "What?" "A file," Blake said. "One that disappeared the day you vanished. You took it." Mr. Carter's voice was like steel. "I destroyed it." "Then I'll destroy everything you care about," Blake replied, stepping back. "You have 24 hours. Without another word, Blake turned and walked away, disappearing into a crowd. Emily ran back outside, breathless. What did he mean about the girl? What's going on? Mr. Carter looked at her seriously. "Emily, it's time you knew the truth. About me. About why I'm really here." Inside Mr. Carter's small apartment, the air was heavy. Emily stood by the doorway, confused and afraid. Mr. Carter opened a metal locker hidden behind a false wall. Click! The lock turned. Inside were things she had never seen before. Black and white photographs, military medals, faded documents, and several weapons carefully wrapped in cloth. But what caught her eye was a photo taped to the inside door. A little girl, maybe 4 years old, smiling, sitting on a man's lap, Mr. Carter's lap. Emily stepped closer, her heart beating fast. That's me," she whispered. Mr. Carter turned slowly and nodded. "Yes." Her voice trembled. "How do you have my picture? What is going on?" He sat down, his face serious but gentle. "You were just a baby when I first met you." Emily's eyes widened. "You're not just some worker in this building," she said. "You've been watching me, protecting me." "Why?" Mr. Carter sighed. "Because your mother once saved my life. She was part of our rescue team. We were trapped in a war zone. Everyone else left, but she stayed. She got me out. She gave her life." Emily's knees weakened. She sat down. "She was my mother?" she asked softly. "Yes," Carter replied. "After that day, I made a promise that I'd protect you, no matter what." Tears filled Emily's eyes. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" "I didn't want to ruin your life with my past. I thought I could just stay close, quietly. But Blake, he's here now, and he knows who you are." Emily was silent, shocked. "What does he want?" "There was a file," Carter said. "It holds names of every agent involved in the mission, including the one who betrayed us, Blake. He's trying to erase all proof." Emily looked at the weapons. "So? What now?" Mr. Carter stood. "Now I stop hiding." Just then, a loud crash outside made them both jump. Flames lit up the night. The garden below the apartment burned, smoke rising into the dark sky. Mr. Carter walked out calmly, hands open, unarmed. Across the yard stood Blake, gun in hand, smiling coldly. His men circled the area, watching every move. "I told you not to play hero," Blake said, aiming the gun straight at Carter. You should have stayed hidden. Mr. Carter didn't flinch. You're not here for the file anymore. You're here for revenge. Blake's grin faded. You always thought you were better than me. No, Carter replied. I just never turned on my own. Blake's finger moved to the trigger. Suddenly, a voice called out from the shadows. Drop it, Blake. Everyone turned. A second figure stepped forward, dressed in black, holding a rifle pointed at Blake. Blake froze. You? The figure removed her mask. It was a woman, Agent Ramirez. You didn't think I'd let you walk free after what you did, she said. You left us to die. Blake snarled. I had no choice. You always had a choice, she replied. And today you pay. Blake swung his gun toward her, but Carter moved like lightning. Bang! Blake's gun fired, but missed. Carter tackled him to the ground. They wrestled in the dirt, fists flying. Blake landed a punch, but Carter's training took over. With a quick move, he pinned Blake down. Agent Ramirez cuffed him. It's over, she said. Emily ran outside, breathless. Mr. Carter. He stood up, bruised but calm. It's done. The police arrived within minutes, taking Blake and his men into custody. The building's residents gathered, watching in silence, shocked. A few officers spoke quietly to Agent Ramirez. Then they turned to Mr. Carter and saluted. The same man everyone once mocked was now being honored. Emily stood beside him. They finally know who you are. Mr. Carter smiled. I didn't need them to know. I just needed you to be safe. Final scene. A few days later, Mr. Carter returned to his post in the office lobby. But this time, people didn't laugh. They greeted him with respect. The interns who once mocked him now offered him coffee. And Emily, she started a fundraiser in her mother's name. The first donor, Mr. Carter. As the camera fades out, Emily looks directly at him.